For 60 years, the Silver Surfer has been Norrin Radd, a philosopher monk in exile, carrying the guilt of 1,000 destroyed worlds. But that version of him is gone, because the Silver Surfer's board has been passed on. And the real question isn't just who is the new Silver Surfer, but what does it mean when the most peaceful force in the Marvel Universe is no longer the one carrying that role? The Silver Surfer has always operated a little bit differently from other heroes. When he intervenes in conflict, he doesn't always pick sides. He often removes the possibility of violence entirely. For example, in the Death of Silver Surfer, there's the Santo Marcan Civil War, where he doesn't end the war through force or negotiation. He simply removes the weapons, making the continued fighting impossible. Even Reed Richards recognizes the difference. If the Fantastic Four did something like that, it would be a political act tied to the United States of America. But the Surfer isn't political. He represents something broader, almost universal in scale. Kelly Coe enters this world from a completely different perspective. She isn't a scientist from a distant utopia or a cosmic wanderer. She's a Bureau of Alien Neutralization operative, or BAN, tied to identify and eliminate extraterrestrial threats. Where Norrin sees mystery and moral weight in the cosmos, Kelly has been trained to see risk, classification, and containment. To her, alien encounters are not philosophical events, they're operational ones. Everything shifts when BAN's leadership changes under Harmon, a new director who isn't interested in protection but extraction. He sees alien life and cosmic anomalies as resources waiting to be harvested, and his ultimate target becomes the Silver Surfer himself. Kelly is still operating within the system at this point, carrying out missions and following orders. She starts to realize that the organization she serves may not be as protective as she believed. Her first encounter with Norrin Radd happens as she pretends to give him an attempted warning. She tells him that BAN is coming, but he doesn't trust her right away, and the situation escalates immediately. He strikes her down, and when she falls, she uses her cunning and training to her advantage. She fakes injury, drawing him in through compassion, and when he gets close enough to help, she shoots him with a specialized weapon designed to destabilize energy beams. The result is interesting. The Silver Surfer knows the weapon won't kill him, but it causes the power cosmic to react violently, and both are caught up in the blast. When Kelly wakes up later, she is back at her home with her mother, while Norrin Radd has inexplicably spared her life and returned her to safety. That moment sits with her because it doesn't match the image she has built of alien threats, or the behavior she expects from something as powerful as the Silver Surfer. At the same time, Harmon's plan escalates. Deep within a massive stone structure tied to Galactus, he discovers what is referred to as the Blood of Galactus, a substance tied to an ancient wound inflicted on the World Eater. Rather than treating it as something dangerous or unstable, Harmon begins extracting its energy, ignoring every warning about its consequences. What he is really doing is turning that cosmic injury into a weapon. As this unfolds, Kelly is sent on another mission involving Scar, the son of Hulk. During the encounter, something unexpected happens. Scar connects with her mind, and she experiences his memories directly. She sees his pain and his struggle in a way that doesn't fit into her training or classification system. Instead of processing it, she rejects it. Calling him a monster is a way to distance herself from what she has seen. But the situation is already spiraling out of control. The energy Harmon has been extracting reaches a breaking point, and the Silver Surfer arrives as the situation collapses into chaos. Harmon manages to capture him, along with Scar and the Hulk's Warbound, escalating the conflict even further. The Fantastic Four become involved after investigating the ruins of the Galactus structure and learning the truth from the Mantid aliens. What Harmon has awakened isn't just energy. It's a swarm of cosmic organisms tied to the Blood of Galactus. They're completely unstoppable, and they are now headed for Earth. At this point, everything converges. The swarm attacks on a massive scale, and Kelly is forced into direct confrontation with the consequences of Harmon's and BAN's actions. Norrin communicates with her mentally, forcing her to understand that Harmon's goal isn't protection, but eradication, even at the cost of innocent lives. That realization eventually pushes her into action, and she ultimately helps free the Silver Surfer and joins the fight along the Fantastic Four and the Warbound against the swarm in deep space. The conflict reaches its breaking point when the swarm attacks the satellite holding Kelly's mother. Norrin gives Kelly's shield a surge of cosmic power so she can attempt a rescue, but unfortunately she arrives too late. Her mother dies, leaving her with one final message. Please take care of them. It is now her responsibility to protect others. Harmon makes one final move, using stolen cosmic energy to open a rift in space-time that threatens to consume everything. This situation becomes irreversible from the inside, and Norrin Radd makes his final decision. He flies into the rift himself, sealing it from within, and then transfers the remaining power cosmic into Kelly, disappearing in the process. When the dust settles, there is nothing left of the facility or the battlefield. Everything has been erased or scattered into the void. Calico remains in the aftermath, now fully transformed into the new Silver Surfer. Instead of retreating or processing what has happened, she begins building a sanctuary in space for Scar, the Warbound, and any of the other aliens else left without a home. The Fantastic Four stand with her, but there's an obvious uncertainty in how they view her. Reed Richards tries to frame what has happened in terms of legacy, telling her to think about what Norrin Radd would have done. Kelly responds without hesitation. She will think about him, but that they should think carefully about what she might do with the power cosmic. That is the real shift. For 60 years, the Silver Surfer represented restraint, guilt, and philosophical reflection. Norrin Radd was a witness to the universe, trying to minimize harm, even when he had the power to do more. Calico represents something different. She is not a wandering moral compass, but a boundary. A protector who enforces limits rather than questions them. Norrin Radd gave the universe a witness who believed in redemption. Now it has a guardian who believes in enforcement. What makes Calico as the new Silver Surfer so interesting to me isn't just the change in identity, but the shift in philosophy that comes with it. Norrin Radd was defined by burden. The power cosmic was something he carried more like a responsibility he could never set down. Every decision he made was filtered through restraint, some guilt, and awareness that even his smallest actions could reshape entire civilization. He was, at his core, a witness to the universe who sometimes tried to minimize his own impact on it. Calico approaches that same power from the opposite direction. Where Norrin might have hesitated, she acts. And where he sees the power cosmic as something to be carefully controlled, she treats it as something to be applied. That difference changes the entire meaning of the Silver Surfer as a concept. But the more interesting contrast is what neither of them can escape. Norrin Radd is haunted by what he's done with the power. Calico is shaped by what she has seen power do when it is left unchecked. So while they represent opposite philosophies, they are both responding to the same core fear. What happens when something this powerful is allowed to exist without direction? It's not just a new person holding the board, it's a different interpretation of what the power cosmic is supposed to mean. The Silver Surfer has always been around the relationship between power and morality, but now Marvel is asking whether morality requires restraint or action. And Calico exists right on that fault. So the question the story leaves behind isn't whether she can handle the power cosmic, it's whether a version of the universe like this still allows someone like Norrin Radd to exist at all. Because if restraint stops being enough, then enforcement becomes the only option left. If you enjoyed this video about one of the most transformative and controversial shifts in Marvel's cosmic mythology, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. What do you think? This is a pretty big shift for a character like the Silver Surfer, and I'm curious where you land on it. Do you think Calico represents natural evolution of what the power cosmic should be? Or does Norrin Radd's version of restraint still define what the character is supposed to stand for? And more broadly, what's your favorite example of a character change that actually worked? Or one that completely missed for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let me know also what we should cover next. If you want to go a step further and help support the work that goes down into tracking these stories, consider becoming a channel member. The link is in the description. Your support helps keep these deep dives going and allows me to spend more time digging into obscure runs, forgotten characters, and the kind of cosmic continuity that usually gets lost in the shuffle. Channel members also get their names featured in future videos as a thank you for helping keep the channel alive. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.